Today we continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim. And the big topic is the same, which is laws of derogatory speech. And today's topic is repentance. We have seen that to speak derogatory of one's fellow is to degrade one's own status as of creation B'Tselem Elokim, in God's image. One more time. We have seen that to speak derogatory of one's fellow is to degrade one's own image of the creation. So we speak about somebody and we degrade our image. How? Right? For one who speaks Lashon Hara, the Teshuvah process is the same as for all sins between man and his creator. Confession, sincere regret, and resolution never to speak Lashon Hara again. One is not required to discuss the matter with the subject of the sinful words and seek the forgiveness, unless the actual harm was caused. The Teshuvah for having caused harm through the Lashon Hara is discussed later. Okay. So the Teshuvah for Lashon Hara is for all other sins. It's very simple. So first of all, you be stopped, right? And then we resolve not to do it again, right? And you confess verbally. So if there is no damage, there is no damage. Let's say we spoke only to one person, so and we can come to that person and say, "Look, I don't know why I said it. It's not true, and that person is a good person, and it's not. It was not verified. This and that. So that's not a problem. So if no harm was caused, but if harm, like whatever the person acted on our words, so that's a different story. This just saying I'm sorry is not going to work, as we said yesterday. You have to try to fix the situation as much as possible. Okay, we stop here. So we continue. We're on Siman 48 and Halacha number 5. C5. And our topic is Brachos upon the food made of 5 species of grain. Okay, so that's where we discuss our pizza situation and all of this bread that they serve in airplane and stuff like that. Okay, so let's see number 5. The following seifim, so seifim meaning in plural. Kitzur sets out the Halachos. For those grain preparations, they do not attain the status of pas. So pas, we said, is a bread. So some of them from bread family, and some of them, as we're going to see now, not from the bread family. So they never became pas. So one of the most common example that as we always speak is something that was cooked, only cooked, like spaghetti or something, pasta. Okay, so the commentary. Until this point, we have been dealing with the baked goods that class is pas. So when it's baked, it's most likely is pas, right? It's pas meaning in a bread or bread family. Okay, bread, baked. Right, pas that a bread type food. As we have learned, depending on the methods of preparation, pas can have either the halachas of standard bread, requiring nitalas yadayim, chamotzi, and Bircas Amazon, or kisnin bread, upon which one recites mizoines when it is not eaten at a set meal. Okay, so just to remind, even though we spoke before, but there are some people who joined us just recently, so we're going to repeat. There is when 2 types of baked goods. Some of them are considered 100% bread, like we said, for example, like bread, as we know, bread, all of the rolls and stuff like that, dinner rolls, all of this is bread, like I don't know, like pizza, like pita, all of this are considered to be bread. Right, and there is kisnin bread. So kisnin, we said kisnin is like we said there are three different opinions. Well, what is it? Like a pockets, like something like inside that you have cheese inside, you have meat inside, fish inside, fruits inside, well, whatever you have, like a pies, right? So this is kisnin, right? It's one on which you say mizonos, and another type is said is something like a dry consistency, very, very thin, like a crackers, like matzah. So even though we said matzah is exception, but crackers, I think it's a good example. Or like dry pretzels, like very dry pretzels, I would say. Okay, so and the third one was like a cake, like cake, meaning that it made with a lot of sugar, like honey, right? Like some honey, some, I don't know, whatever, like a cake as we know it's cake. Okay, three times. So those are kisnin bread. So we said if you just use it as a snack, there is just mizonos and that's it. But if you use it as a mainstay of the meal, so then you say Bircas hamotzi, Bircas hamazon, etc. Continue. However, as long as they are baked in the oven, they all classes pass. Okay. So pass is general classification. Then it breaks on actual bread and bread family. Okay. Generally speaking, the item made from the 5 grains that was not baked in all the parts at all as a part of the preparation does not attain the halacha as pas, and therefore cannot be classed as regular bread nor kisnin bread. Okay, so meaning one more time, and I mean we already said it, but one more time from the words of the Shulchan Aruch. Generally speaking, an item that made from 5 grains. So as somebody asked, I think yesterday and I think last week also, or similar question. So bread or bread family only from 5 grains. If it's from rice flour, it's not one of the 5 grains, right? If it's from like what is it, like corn flour, also like all other flours, it's not or like on Pesach, right? The Pesach is coming soon, so they do baking from potato starch. I mean, it looks like it's from the wheat, but it's actually potato starch. It has nothing to do with wheat, right? So that's not bread, even though it looks like bread. Okay, right? So first of all, from 5 grains, and second of all, right? So if it's not from 5 grains, or from 5 grains, but it was not baked, like pasta, right? At all as a part of the preparation, does not attain the halacha of pas. So all of these cooked products are not bread, and therefore cannot be classed as a regular bread. Okay, nor pas, nor kisnin bread, nor regular bread, none even bread family. Therefore, one who eats such an item, even if set meal, will always say mizonos before eating and alamihia afterwards. So it doesn't matter how much pasta you eat or spaghetti, like you always say mizonos and alamihia after the blessing, always. Okay, continue. In the following seifim, Kitzur sets out the parameters of this halacha, exactly which methods of preparation produce pas, and which is do not, right? So how to make bread or bread family, and what to do not to make a bread family. With this, one second, and which process can make the item that was already passed lose this status even after it was baked. So what does it mean? So it was baked as a bread, let's say, right? And then we did whatever we did, and after this action, whatever we did, it stopped being a bread. So we're going to see like it's actually cooking bread. like when it's small pieces, so it's no longer recognizable as a bread. But we're going to see. Okay, so initially it was bread, but after you cooked it, it's no longer a bread. Okay, so okay, continue. With respect to dough that was kneaded with water, even if it's loose consistency, the law is follows. Okay, so first of all, as we said, water is the main ingredient, right? As we explained yesterday, example that we gave, not yesterday, I apologize, last week, about all of this, like one kind of misogynes, we said there is opinion that it is made with a fruit juice, right? And we said that fruit juice is maybe even majority, right? Or like, or at least you can taste it, right? So one more time, with respect to the dough that was kneaded with water, commentary, it was not kneaded with oil or fruit juices, etc. Exactly. In which case it may be classified as kisnein bread. So I would underline the word maybe, right? Maybe. So it depends how much water. But we're going here like straightforward case as we do with water. Okay. Even if it's loose consistency, so loose consistency meaning that you want to do pancakes, all of these beautiful things, right? So commentary 22. There is it cannot stay in one place without spreading. For example, loose butter. Okay. Siman Pesachim 37a. Follows Sieve 8, so we're going to get to it. Regarding dough with a thick consistency that is not baked in the oven. Okay, so they actually, I think, fry it or something. Okay, so now we say it doesn't matter. It's like a regular dough or even with loose consistency. The law is as follows. If it was baked in the oven or even it was baked on a pan, but without liquid, it is considered as bread. So all of these pancakes, like all of these, in different cultures, like Ashkenazim have different style, Sephardim have different style, but all of these pancakes or variation of pancakes, they don't have oil, like a little. This is not considered oil, right? Meaning in what sense that. You put just a little oil so it would not stick to the frying pan and would not get burned. That's it. So it's considered like there is no oil. Okay. Or without liquid. Okay. So and without liquid, we just clarify, right? Without liquid means that minimal amount, like not to get burnt. Okay, continue. Even if okay, apologize. Here we go. Even if the pan was smeared with fat, okay, or so that the dough would not burn exactly, and that is not considered to be cooked in a liquid, and therefore has a halachic status of a regular bread. So people get like. Get surprised. How come this pancakes is bread? It's 100% bread. How is it different, right? So like for example, you make all of these pitas, right? Like when you do pitas at home, you do it in a frying pan. Where else, right? Continue. Thus, even if one eats only kizayis of this bread, he is required to wash nitalas yadayim. Okay. And to recite hamotzi before eating it, and Bircas hamazon afterwards. Okay. So these things, whether you do it in the oven or on top of the oven, like in this frying pan, even if not in a frying pan, in different pans. So there is special like what is it, like pots to bake bread. So if you want to do artisan bread, that's how you don't do it, like you put it in a special pot and close with a cover. That's what they do, right? So it doesn't matter. It's still the same concept. Okay, so the all of these have a regular status of regular bread, right? Even though it's soft, right? Not like a regular bread. Thus, even the kazais is only eaten. Okay, so they gave definition of kazais. So we said it's 1 ounce or 28 grams. Who goes by grams? Okay. So just so we know, I don't want to confuse anybody, but I just want to give you the other opinions. So the other opinions is actually they start from 0.6, very different opinions. From 0.6 of ounce, it's to 1.1 ounce, fluid ounce. Okay, so that's we're going by like this medium opinion. Okay, continue. And you have to on this pancake basically, right? So because it's an unusual example, so I want to use that. On this pancake, you Kitzur said that you're going to eat kizai. So kizai is usually very heavy, so you eat a little piece, right? So you have to wash your hands. Nitalas yadayim. 24 commentary. Regarding the obligation to recite al nasilat yadayim blessing when eating only kizais. See above 41. Okay, did we pass it or not? Yeah, we passed. Okay, so if it's below kizayas, just to remind us, so if it's below kizayas, we don't we wash, but we don't say blessing, right? Because why there is no blessing? Because our sages explain the impurity, the tumah rests only on foods that. Bigger than kizais. Okay, so I mean that's fine. So we don't say blessing because it's this washing technically is not necessary. Okay, no problem. Okay, so but we wash anyway because it's that's our decree, and we say chamotzi we say on any amount, as we said I think last time or time before, we said even if you eat two crumbs of bread, so you have leftover on your table and you already say Bircas Hamazon and you want to eat these few crumbs, you have to say chamotzi. Okay. So, and you recite Birchas Hamazon afterwards. Commentary on Birchas Hamazon. It is not considered to be cooked, but baked. I'm not sure how. Okay. And therefore is classed as a regular bread. So baked meaning that's a different. So cooking. So cooking is when we cook, we say with a liquid. So any liquid. Deep fry is a liquid, right? Oil is a liquid. Or water, of course, a liquid. Upon which one recite chamotzi before eating it. In Birchas Hamazon, even upon eating only kizayas. Okay. Continue. The chamotzi blessing is required when eating only amount of standard bread. Chamotzi blessing is required when eating any amount. Any amount of standard bread, even less than kizais. As we said, even few crumbs. Similarly, if butter of the same consistency was prepared from the fruit juice instead of water, and then baked as described in this sieve, it would be considered kisnin bread, since it was baked and not cooked. So now they want to do these pancakes or with blueberries, with like all of this fruit juices with blueberry preserves. I don't know, whatever they do, these crazy things, right? So because it's a lot of juice, let's say there is they put a lot of this apple juice, right? Apple juice. So of course it became mizoinous until you eat a lot of these pancakes, right? As we said, what a lot? We said it's like 8 ounces, or according to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, it's actually less if you eat it with other foods, so like accompany foods. So that's a very interesting case. Okay, continue. However, if he fried the dough in a liquid, then it's not considered as bread at all, even if he eats amount that would fully satiate, right? But if for example, a person did a deep fry, whatever, even pancakes, I think they do deep fry or something, right? So potato latkes, right? That's they do, what is it, zucchini latkes, or so all of these things that they do, like vegetable things. So they deep fry. Um, oh, it's not a good example. I apologize. We always say mizoines because even though there is flour, but it's minority. Okay, whatever you do deep fry is mizoines. So and we say it doesn't matter how much one eat. There is it has not even attained the halachic status of kisnin bread. Never. It's never bread, right? Because it was cooked. That is considered to be bread even when eaten to satiety, as explained above, CF1. Okay. Therefore, he recite baremi nemi zoines before eating and alamihya afterwards. So okay. All this cooked pasta and stuff like that. Continue. Likewise. Any questions before we continue? Good. Even though if you just joined like a few days ago, you can ask questions. I will clarify. Go ahead.
So Rabbi, okay, so about the pancakes. So let's say the batter's made with milk, because that's what I usually eat the pancakes with. Like if it's made with milk, it also depends a certain amount, like with 8 ounces, or according to Rabbi.
No. He's oh yeah, yes. So okay. So if it was mixed, exactly, it is a milk. It's a mizoines for sure. It's not a bread. It's from the bread family. So okay. Only if you eat 8 ounces, you have to, again, I always say, buy yourself scales. They're not expensive, and you will be the king of the blessings. You understand? So that's otherwise it's impossible to understand, how much you need to eat. And so for sure, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So if I go to like a restaurant, like to eat, let's say if I order a breakfast and it comes with pancakes, what do I do in that scenario? If I eat it with a meal, then I do hamotzi. Let's say if I eat eggs with pancakes, fries, hamotzi, right?
Of course, that's what we said. Moshe Feinstein said. He said, okay, 8 ounces. Okay, according to some opinion, like more stricter, 6 ounces. Okay, it's 3 eggs or 4 eggs according to the Talmud. Okay, that's fine. But Moshe Feinstein said it's not a regular meal. Usually people don't eat that much bread during the meal, right? So meal usually consists of bread and all other, as you said, fries, all of the other side dishes. You understand? So together is going to the meal, to be the meal. So how many slices of bread usually people eat, let's say for breakfast? Maybe 2 slices, maybe. So for sure it's not 8 ounces. Maybe 2 ounces of bread, maybe 3 ounces of bread. You understand? And plus all of these other things, as you mentioned, of course, you get satiated. So you wash for a meal. Yeah, 100%. That's a good point.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So we combine all together. Okay, no problem. Yes, question? Go ahead, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Rabbi, I'm not sure if you mentioned this already, but on airplanes, they give you, it's like bread, but they call it mezzanot. So how does that work?
Yes, people call things by different name. We don't go by what they call. I actually explained it last time, and we did experiment. I knew that it's not bread, so we never ate it, the bread. But once, we took this bread to our hotel room, we washed, of course, on the regular bread, and tried that bread. It's bread, 100%. You don't feel the taste of juice. Like, I don't know what is it made of. It says, I mean, if it would be from what is it, from rice flour, I don't know, I think it would taste different, but it was like bread, regular bread. So that's what people do.
Right, I think that it's wheat, but they say that it's mezzanot. So can you not really trust that?
No, you cannot trust it. So it's not even sweet. So there is one opinion, right? Opinion of Sephardic people, right? So they say if it's sweet, for them it's always mizoinous, always. Okay, that's good. That's a good opinion to rely on one hand. On another hand, you use it as a bread. You use it as a mainstay of the meal. How is it mizoinous? You understand? So if like you eat a little sweeter, less sweeter. Today, like everybody likes sweet cucumbers, sweet meat, and sweet chicken, sweet. I don't know, everything is sweet. I don't know, cheese is also sweet. You understand? So that does not mean anything. But somebody wants to rely on that opinion. I would not rely so much. You understand? Because you eat this, as you said, it's a dinner roll. They call dinner roll, meaning for satiation. It's roll. It's not cookie. It's not. You understand? So it's one of the scams.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah, it's maybe second one after the weeks, after the kosher weeks. That's second one, right after that. Yes, go ahead. Next question, please. Yes, go ahead.
Hello,
Go ahead.
Rabbi.
Yes.
So my background, I eat rice as a main meal, or that's how I grew up, and I was wondering if somehow if you bake the rice, would it be? Is there a way that it can be considered a
Bread?
or like as a meal? I guess.
No, it could be a meal, but it's not of the one of the 5 species of grain. Yeah, it is a meal. You can have a rice bread. So the true. Okay, so I must mention. I apologize. In some cases, you go to the pizzeria, right, and they have gluten-free pizza. So what is gluten-free pizza? It looks like exactly pizza. So I have a friend and he has a son who's have problem with gluten, right? So he bought him this pizza. Cost a lot of money, and it's actually made from a rice flour. So he cannot eat the regular. So from rice flour, it has nothing to do with mizonis. It's not bread. It's nothing. I mean, I don't know how it tastes, but it's rice is rice is an exception. So when you eat rice, you say "Borei mine mizonis," like you would do on what is it now, like on oatmeal on one hand. On another hand, like after the blessing is different. It's not ala michya, it's a regular borei nefashos, as you say, after all of the other vegetables. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just since you asked for about rice, so just to remind us, we have to be careful when we, in order of the blessings, right? For example, you have rice and you have string beans, for example, right? And so on after the fact, if you say the fruit of the land on the rice, after the fact it is covered because the statement is true. So we try like first, if you have 2 dishes, right, you have to, of course, they're not mixed. You have to say 2 blessings. So first blessing you say on the rice, borei mine mizonis, and then you say on the string beans. You understand? So don't put yourself in a questionable position. I mean, there is opinion that you must say borei mine mizonis on rice anyway, but since there is other opinions that after the fact it's covered, so we try to go in a correct priority, and that's you're always in win. Okay. Any other questions before we continue? Okay. So continue then. Likewise, though those wafers, okay, here we go, wafers that are very thin, that are baked in a mold between 2 pieces of iron, okay, do not have the halachic status of bread. So, okay, we're going to see why. Thus, even if one eats enough wafers to fully satiate, he recites only borei mine mizonis before eating it, and after eating it, ala michya. So let's see the commentary. Let's see what does it mean. So this wafers, 27. Shar Hatziyun 168.36 describes the process as follows. A loose batter is made of flour and poured into the hot iron mold. Then another hot iron mold is brought down into the first. Then the two molds are pressed together, and the heat of the molds bakes the batter into wafer. Okay. So I'm not sure what's the difference, but let's see. So he said he recites only Bremine Mizoines before eating it, and after eating it, Ala Mihia 29 commentary. Since it is so thin and flimsy, it does not resemble bread in any way. Thin or flimsy? Okay. In any way, and has not halachos of pas. So these wafers, as he describes, it has nothing to do with wafers that we eat, right? The people would make in the morning, right? Because that one is for sure it's bread, right? You pour into the cast iron, right? And you close, for sure it's electric one, whatever is it. So it's bread. So this one is very thin. So it's very thin. It's like flimsy. Okay. So I guess like maybe a few pieces of paper, like something like that. That's what they call it. So he's saying it's for sure not bread because it's very thin. Okay. No problem. So continue. At times people make a dough in a very loose consistency. Okay, so before we continue, so somebody asked me in another class how you separate the challah from this, right? So it's actually a very practical question, right? They had some kind of party. I forgot some breakfast party in their house, and like many relatives came and stuff like that. They did a lot of these pancakes, right? So they asked me how to separate challah, because I mean they did 5 pounds plus, right? That's very good question. So the question is, you do it after the fact because it's a loose consistency, so you cannot separate. When you make when you separate challah, usually you do it from the dough. You make a dough, right? It's hard consistent. You take a piece, say blessing, no blessing, and you set it aside. That's it. But here, like, how can you take with a spoon? No. You have to take it with a hand, right? So we do it after the fact. Okay. So we bake and then separate. At times, people make a dough in a very loose consistency. Okay, loose consistency, very loose. There is they put flour in water in a pot and mix then with a spoon. Okay. Then they take this batter and pour on the vegetable leaves and bake it and it is baked in the oven over the leaves. This preparation has a halachic status of pas haba bekisnin. So let's read the commentary and we're going to. So here's the thing. It's like they call it, what do they call it, casserole or something, right? They put like vegetables and pour this very loose dough. Okay. No, not dough, the batter. Okay. So commentary say, if one eats an amount of the set meal of this preparation, he is required to recite Hamotzi and Birchas Hamazon. This applies only in a case when the resulting item is very soft and thin. If it is not soft and thin, it has the halachic status regular bread. So casserole, I think it's I don't know. We don't do it, but I think it's soft. The way I understand it, so it's not hard. So it is a if it would be mizoines, but if one eats kizais, but not kizais, this 8 ounces, I'm not sure how it can, like, it's so usually so many vegetables that where he says leaves, so in his days were leaves, so usually people don't eat that much. Okay, Continue. Next one. Dough that were cooked in water and afterward baked, such as bagels, right? So that's how the bagels do, right? What they do with bagels, they first cooked and then bake, such as bagels. A soft pretzel. So this soft pretzel is 100% bread. So it's, once I told in the class, people like of course it's bread. Like what else, right? It's bread. I consider it to be standard bread. So bagels and soft pretzels. So when I was given this example earlier, I said like hard pretzels, like small ones. Small ones, that's mizonos. But this soft one is a bread. Standard bread.
What about knishes?
Yeah.
The knish.
1 second. Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Is the knish bread?
A knish? No. Okay, so knish. Thank you very much for asking. It's actually one when we were discussing types of this bread family. We said one condition is filled with something like pockets, whatever, right? Pockets. So pockets. That's knish is a classic example of pockets. So you say baremine mizoines. So just so we know, we say only one blessing on knish, only one blessing, right? On which one you say mizoines. Even, of course, mizones, usually it's a thin layer, or a thicker one if they want to charge you more money and give you less.
More than one?
Say it again?
Even if you eat more than one?
Usually it's not enough bread in there. Like it's very, like if you take off like the shell, it's only a little bread. So yeah.
Okay.
So that's the classic case of pockets. We said filled with meat, with fish, but this knish is a potato knish or kasha knish or other. Right.
So what you're describing maybe could be like an omelette. You know how you make the eggs and the vegetables with it. The omelette sounds like a quiche, a dish called quiche. You know, where they put all the vegetables.
No, but they bake it in the oven and they put a lot of like the batter.
Yeah, they do that.
With omelets? With omelets?
Yeah, it's kind of like a toast and bread around it, and they bake it. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, so I did not know. Okay, thank you very much. That's what it is. So, but if it's omelets, I assume that it's soft. The shell of the bread like would be soft. So, but
Yeah,
if it's hard, what is it?
It's like a pie.
Pie. Okay, pie. All right. So pie, but pie is different. Pie is also in this category of pockets, right? So usually, I'm not sure. Maybe very very hungry person can eat this so much pie to say Bircas Hamazon, but
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
Yes. Okay. Good question. Okay, I lost my count. Okay, so continue. Okay, so we said that these bagels, right, or soft pretzels, are considered standard bread. Okay. See below CF8, which say that if it is only cooked in water and not baked, it would not have halachos pass at all. Right? I mean, but it's not going to look like bread even if you just cook this bagel. I'm not sure that, right? Okay, so when the last step of preparation is baking, so that's bread. Okay, so like finishing step is baking, that's bread. And once it is bread, we said before in introduction, under certain circumstances, it can become mizonos again. Okay, so once again, consider standard bread, but only if they're baked well. Okay, Sipri Megadim, Siman 168, Eshel Avraham. So let's see, there is a commentary, maybe he explained. The Pri Megadim writes that if they were put into the oven only long enough to develop a crust, they are not considered bread. I'm not sure what does it mean, only a crust, but inside it's going to be raw, or maybe it was cooked completely. I'm not sure. I mean, I know what people do. Okay, so maybe that's what I mean. Like people do this ravioli, right? And they would cook it and then fry it. Maybe that's like fried with a little oil. Maybe that's what it means, but it's still misogynist. Any questions on what you said before we continue? So long, see if. Okay, so continue then. Number 7. Just one note. If you raise your hand, I don't see it. So it's if you want to speak, just start talking. Just so you know. Okay. Number 7, regarding regular baked bread. Okay, that was then cooked. So here we go. Right, it was baked and then cooked, or fried with the butter, or the like. Okay, so they call it, what is it called, like French toast or something, right? So it was bread and then they cooked. Then if in the process it is lost the bread-like appearance, such as if it were smeared with eggs, the halacha is, as long as the pieces that he is eating is at least size of kizayis, all of the halacha standard bread would apply. So let's see the commentary and we're going to explain. So first of all, so if it's still kizayis, and we're going to see, as if I remember correctly, we say Shulchan Aruch said kizayis even after after the process. So after the process, if of course this bread absorbs some liquid, right? So sometimes they put it in the water to soak, sometimes in eggs to soak, something like it would be heavier, right? So we go by that kizayis. So if it still looks like bread, so first condition, and second is the size of kizayis. So it's still considered to be bread. 43 country. Thus, if one of the pieces is at least a kizayis, one of the pieces, it should recite hamotzi on that piece and exempt the rest of the pieces, even they are smaller than kizayis. See Mishnah Berurah 168:53. So if you don't want to look like to say hamotzi, so just cut them this in little stripes or like smaller pieces. All the dough that was only cooked is not considered to be bread. Nevertheless, here there is a bread was actually baked. It does not lose the status of bread upon being cooked, unless pieces are smaller than kizayis. And like kizayis in this case, like soaked in all of these liquids with maybe with oil, I would say maybe half a slice. So if it's less than that like maybe 1/3 of the slice or even less, so it's not going to be considered bread. Okay, 43. Continue. However, if none of the pieces that are eaten that he's eating were originally as large as kizayis, why does it says originally? Okay, kizayis, even if they are swelled as a result of cooking, so that now each piece is the size of kizayis, and even if during the cooking process the pieces become attached to each other, so it's after the fact, it's not considered to be attached, right? Becoming a large mass, and then so this it's still like a large mass, but when you cannot tell things apart, so it's like already lost its definition as bread. Right, and even the pieces still remain in their bread-like appearance. They nevertheless do not have the halachic status of bread, right? Because they're smaller and mixed. One recites on the Borei Minei Mizonos blessing before eating them, and after eating it, Ale Michia, even if one ate the amount that fully satiate. Okay, so far we said if it's small pieces and they do not look like bread, or they got like stuck together, so it's not considered to be bread. Okay, so I mean we said mizonos and ala michia. Continue. If one did not cook the pieces of bread, but pour the boiling water over them, then the proper blessing is a matter of doubt, because we are unsure whether altering the pieces by pouring is equivalent to the cooking with regard to the halacha or not. Therefore, one should not eat this food except during the bread meal meal when he has already washed nitalas yadayim and recite hamotzi blessing on a regular bread. So we're going to explain, because this situation is very practical. So let's do it again, and we're going to explain line by line. If one did not cook pieces of bread, right, but pour boiling water over them, so the question is asked, right? So the logical question. So like if I have soup, right, and I have let's say I made a bread croutons myself, right? How do? We have leftover challah. We cut this in squares in whatever shape. We dry it in the oven. So, and I want to put those pieces of bread into my soup, right? Chicken soup, let's say, right? So it's 100% bread. So you have to wash on them. Understand? Because they look like bread. And this is not considered to be cooking, because I don't want to overcomplicate things, but I want to give you like some things, like more new information, and we're going to develop on it later on, right? Because it is now in a third vessel. So what is it? My plate is a third vessel. First vessel in what was cooked, clearly shown. Then klisheni, like I took soup with something, with let's say this with this what is it called? Ladle, right? And then I put it into my plate. So my plate is a tertiary vessel, so it's not going to cook this bread. It's for sure, it's 100% bread. So if you buy these croutons from the store, that's a different story. As we said, they usually like prepare as a mizoines to begin with, never as a bread, and they were usually deep fried. Okay, so that's a different story. So here's a different case. It's not what we're talking about with the soup, right? So one more time, if one did not cook the pieces of bread, but pour boiling water over them, okay, then the proper blessing is a matter of doubt, right? So maybe they were cooked, maybe not. But when it is soup, it's never boiling. It's never that hot. And plus, as we said, it's tertiary vessel. But here it sometimes was boiling, and it's in your plate, let's say, right? And you pour hot water or hot like boiling soup over these pieces of bread. Because we are unsure whether the altering the pieces by pouring equivalent to the cooking with regard to this halacha or not, so we're not sure, right? Therefore, one should not eat this food except during the meal that was already washed the nitalas yadayim, and recite hamotzi blessing over the regular bread. So let's see note 45, and we're going to explain. Since there is a question whether to recite hamotzi or mizoines on such a bread, one should eat this food only when it does not require any blessing at all. That's it. So I mean, it was covered by other foods, right? There is during the bread meal. So I mean, not other foods. The only case it could be covered only by the bread meal. That's it. Generally, so even if you ate other mizoines, but what if this is still bread? So your mizoines blessing is not going to cover this bread. Okay, so only during the bread meal. Generally, any food eaten during the meal is exempt from the own blessing by the hamotzi blessing that was recited upon the bread at the beginning. 43. Okay, we learned it in C43. Okay, but not everything is covered, as we said. Not always. And just so we know, I'm not sure if they're going to to say it or not. So, but since we are on this subject, so same with whatever you fry, like from this batter, right? And you put a lot of oil, but not so much that it would cover them completely, right? It's not deep fry, and much more than needed for them not to stick to the pan. So in this case, it's a doubtful situation. We don't know whether it's cooked or it's bread. So in this case, they say you have to eat it only in a bread meal. So do it with like minimal oil, like just a little, like they say, smear fat, wherever that's what they used to do, smear fat, or like you have the spray, right, cooking spray. That's what you do. That's for sure. It's
like a
bacon.
toast.
Say it again.
Like a toast.
Oh no, toast is there is no problem whatsoever. There is no liquid.
If you put butter on it, and toast it like that.
If you put water on it, but the last process, like the final process, is a toast without liquid, correct?
Okay.
Right. So okay. So if it's doubtful, maybe it's cooked, maybe it's not cooked. So I mean, we don't know what blessing to make. Continue. Any other questions before we continue? Actually. Okay, no problem. So we continue. If one did not cook the pieces of bread, but soak them in a liquid, that's the French toast or something. Okay, let's see. If one did not cook the pieces of bread, but soak them in liquid, or in broth, or the like. So that's actually very practical on Pesach, right? So some people do what is it called? Matzah bran, matzah bran. I don't know, like a brine,
Yeah,
right? Matzah bran, right? So. So some people don't put don't combine matzah and water, right? They call it and the combination is called gebracht, right? So some people very strong, very strict. So if you would use it in your house, right? So for them, and they don't. So for them, even your dishes are not kosher for them. So just so you know, that's why many people like on Pesach they eat only by their families or in their own house. Period. They don't visit each other. It's very interesting. Not because they don't trust each other, but because of one of these differences, right?
So what is the rule, Rabbi? You're not allowed to do the matzah.
No. Okay. So here's the thing. So some people don't eat it. Period. But for example, our tradition we do it. That's one of the favors of the favorable dishes on of Pesach, right? So you put how do you prepare? You break the matzahs in small pieces and pour hot water over it. Right, let it soak, and then you mix with the eggs and other spices, and very delicious. And you fry it, right? So we try to fry it so that's the issue, right? So because it still looks like bread, right? It was not exactly cooked, right? And you fry it usually with a little more oil. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rabbi. The reason why I'm asking is because the reason why they don't do it is because it says that it will expand when it touches the water. So it will make the matzah grow when it touches the water. So that's why, even though you put a little water, some of them will expand, and that's why they don't want to eat it. That's what I heard. That's why you're not allowed to eat it, the matzah mix it up with the soup.
Yes, yeah. That's what people say. I mean, that's one of the reasons. But if it can become leaven again, so it's not matzah then to begin with. So if it's, you have to decide whether it's matzah or not matzah. So they say maybe in the little pockets in there, there is still some flour. Okay, maybe.
Thank you.
Okay, but okay. So some things some craziness people like eat, but how is it possible? Like you have to understand. So Judaism, like, it is not in order to drive yourself crazy. So these people would eat over like something like, I don't know, like empty plate. Sorry, one second. One second. Yeah. One second. So they would eat over the empty plate. So like, you have to always change the plates. Otherwise, like, why you eat? For example, you eat salad. So you have this salad dressing. So if your crumbs of matzah that you are so careful go into your plate, so that's it. You're done. I'm not sure how exactly. I mean, I know that people do it, but it's in my opinion, since we say it is matzah, so why go crazy? So if it's matzah, it's matzah. If it's not matzah, so why you bought this thing, right? So if it's matzah, so it cannot become comments again. Okay, so that's now a discussion, but that's example what they use here. So one more time, if one did not cook the pieces of bread, right, but rather soak them in liquid, as we said, or in a broth, or the like, and the pieces are not the size of kizayis, not as matzah. Of course, you don't like matzah brine. You don't make like big pieces. In this case, the halacha depends on whether the pieces retain a bread-like appearance or not. So of course it looks like matzah. What does it look like? Right? If they do not do retain a bread-like appearance, then they retain the halacha standard of bread. So it's not only if it's kizayis, but also like a second condition, if it still looks like bread. So matzah looks like matzah. You will put oil, not oil, these eggs over it. You mix with other things. So I mean, it still looks like matzah. But if they no longer have a bread-like appearance, they do not. They no longer have halachic status of bread. So it's like a mushy thing. I'm not sure what dishes they make from it, but of course it's possible. Commentary. However, if the pieces were kizayis or larger and retain status of bread regardless of their appearance. So that's a third opinion in Shulchan Aruch. So they say even it does not look like bread, but it's a kizayis or larger, right? It's still bread. So if it looks like bread, guess what? It is bread. If it's kizayis, it does not look like bread. Guess what? It's still bread. Even if he ate amount that would fully satiate, he recite only baremine mizoinas before eating it, meaning it does not look like bread, right? So it's like it becomes like one mass. And ala mechia after eating. Okay. So let me read commentary. So if it's less than kizayis and does not look like bread, so it's not bread. Okay. And we say it was not cooked; it was just poured this hot, this boiling water, or soaked in the liquid. So as we said, that does not have to be cooked, right? If you soak in the water and like and become more like something like different, so same idea. Commentary. 47 commentary. If the bread was merely crumbled, right, but not soaked, even if the pieces are extremely small, they retain the halachic status of bread, since in fact they no longer look like bread, is only due to the small size. That's a very interesting. So that's what we said on this example. You have a few crumbs of bread you want to eat. You have to say hamotz. They are not essentially altered in any way. So I mean, if they just dry, they're small, but they're 100% bread, right? See Shulchan Aruch 168.10, Mishnah Brura 168.60 and 63. See also below CF9. Okay, we're going to get to it, not today. Regarding crumbs that were further altered and made into different food, right? So they do like things from breadcrumbs, right? Or some, I don't know. What do they make? These matzah balls, I guess. Right. So first, how do you do matzah ball at home? Right. You don't have to buy. You can do it yourself. You grind the matzah. and then from these pieces you make a matzo ball. You add eggs or other things. Okay, 1 second. Let me check time.
Is that okay to do also for Pesach?
Okay, so one more time. If you want to do all this no gebrachts, it's special people like that have special background that do it, right? So other people, if you our approach is like this: if you don't have such a special background, like in your family from your father, grandfather that came, so we don't do it. Don't accept any stringencies, because we have enough stringencies in Judaism. Don't if it's not your tradition, don't do it. Okay, so it's as I said, this matzah brine is in my family. It's one of the favorites on Pesach. Okay, so you put matzah, you add all of the ingredients you want, eggs, whatever, and you eat. Okay. So any questions?
What about pizza, Rabbi? Pizza matzah.
Pizza matzah.
Is it okay to do it?
Pizza
Like
matzah.
you put the matzah and then you add cheese and things on top of it?
Yes.
Is that okay to do?
I think so. Yeah. There's no problem. You can do whatever you want with the matzah. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still bread.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Any other questions on any topic? Whatever we cover, we did not cover. Go ahead.
Robert, one of the questions I have is, let's say you did a hamotzi blessing, and then you're ready to eat a sandwich or something like that, and then you didn't think, like you didn't have anything to drink at that moment. You're like, oh, I'm gonna drink it with some water, because you can't eat a sandwich without drinking something. But you didn't think of it while you're praying. What do you do in that instance?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good question. So let me just repeat a little and elaborate on your questions. That's a good question. So person starts like bread meal, sandwich, bread meal, doesn't matter, right? And let's say there were no drinks on a table, or like, right, it is drink covered, or there are some extra salads or some extra spreads or whatever things in the refrigerator. Are they covered or not? So the question, the answer is yeah, everything is covered. Because why? Because that's a person's nature. You start with say, today I'm on a diet. I'm going to eat only 2 pieces of bread, little cheese, and guess what? You're going to eat whatever is there in the refrigerator, right? Half of the refrigerator as well. So that's nature of the people. And plus, as you said, people don't usually eat without drinking. So it's like whatever you usually do, it's actually your intention. In a blessing, that's your intention. So that's everything is covered. Like if it's in the same blessing category, but in this thank you. In this what is it? With bread is simple. With bread is simple. But even with other things, you eat as we discussed today, omelet, right? You eat omelet, and you say blessing, and then you now you're thirsty, so the drink is covered. That's what you usually do. That's normal. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Rabbi, so is food on airplanes in general, is it legitimate? Because they cook it in the oven with non-kosher food.
No, they don't cook it in the oven. So when you receive the tray, it's like always double wrapped, and they put it like this in a microwave to warm up. So there is no problem whatsoever. There is no problem. Right? Nobody cooks in the food. So it's a very interesting question that you ask. It came out maybe 10 years ago, maybe more. Right? So people say, so rabbis are trying to find leniency for people, for people, not to like make people lives harder, right? So they say maybe like a black coffee, like if you go to any like even non-Jewish establishments, whatever this Dunkin' Donuts, like Starbucks, whatever. If you take without any like creamers, of course, it's absolutely forbidden. Without any flavoring, without this flavor, like straight, regular, right? So if they say maybe so that it's allowed. So because there is like it's only beans, so they maybe fry it this way or that way. Okay. And for sometimes like people were saying like coffee on a plane. So like when you fly to Israel or something, they give you like you want a coffee, they give you like instant coffee like packages, like individual packages. They give you hot water and then you mix it, like add sugar, this creamer, and you good, right? But of course, this coffee that stewardess like gives all other, they smell so good, and like for many years, people say there is no problem with the coffee. What is it in the coffee? It's regular coffee, right? So until this person, I don't want to say name, but somebody big with the kashrus authority. So he said he was flying. And he was not nice to this lady, to stewardess, right? And he started talking and stuff like that. And he said, but you probably like sick and tired of this plain food, right? It's like they fly like always the same food. She said, of course. How do you know? She said, I am plus. I'm on a diet. I bring my sweet potato and sweet potato and what is it hot dogs or something, and we cook. And he was very surprised, and he said, where do you cook it? And she said, I cook in a pot where we boil the water. That's where I cook it. You understand? They cook their hot dogs and everything and potatoes in that pot they use for coffee. You understand? For them it's normal, but when he heard it, he said, "Thank you very much." Of course, they publish it in a newspaper. Okay, if you want to take the risk, maybe on this plane they did not do it. That's your decision. But we don't drink like anything from them, unless they give you like a packet of the tea, and that's it. That's maybe acceptable, but not the coffee, not the other things. Okay, take like water. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Rabbi. So now that you're talking about that, I was always checking it out. One day I remember going to New Jersey and I saw this supermarket sells kosher food also, but you see a lot of people that, because I always thought that, someone have to turn on something in order to be kosher and this and that. So the microwave was really confusing. So you know how like on Yom Tov, if your oven gets off or on, some people just, I don't do that. It's off, or it's on, But some people call the neighbor that's not Jewish to come and turn on the oven because, it's Yom Tov. And they don't want to leave the oven on. Is that okay to do or not? Because I heard that it's not.
So the question is it allowed to turn on the oven on Yom Tov? That's the question?
Not a non-kosher person, yes, non-Jew.
So on Yom Tov, that's thank you very much. That's a good question. So the question is, are we allowed to make a fire on Yom Tov? Yeah, we're allowed to make a fire, but not a new fire. So whatever you're not allowed to do, you're not allowed to ask another person if he's not Jewish to do for you. Yeah. So, but on Yom Tov, you're allowed to take, if you have pre-existing fire, and we always use a yard-side candle that burns like for 48 hours. And from that you can start your own if you need to.
Yeah. So how is different with the microwave? Why is it okay for a non-Jew to warm up the food for you?
How is it different from microwave? Because my microwave has
a button in order to turn it on and warm it up for you. So how is that different? To me, I was like confused.
So how is it different? The microwave, so it's electricity. So I would say we don't use the electricity on Yom Tov. So this micro.
Like the plane, like you were talking about the plane, they warm up the food. So
but you don't fly on Yom Tov in a plane, but generally just.
No, normally.
Okay, that's a good question. So I am going to improve your question, right? So let's say you're working in a company, right? And you have only one cafeteria and you have only one microwave, right? Are you allowed to warm up the food, right? Or let's say you're in a hotel room, right? And there is a microwave, right? So I think that's a good question. So are you allowed to warm up the food in that microwave? So they say yes, if you do double wrapper. So it's like a container where what you have it's sealed, and you have one wrap and another wrap, so you can do it. And I advised somebody, like so somebody asked me this question. So he said a lot of people would use microwave. So I told them to go on the lunch early before other people use it. So it would be like, I don't know, like 10 hours, 15 hours that nobody used it from previous day. That's it. And double
my
wrap.
question form was like, a non-Jew can do it for you? Like, are there, like you were talking about someone going on the plane and warming up your food? Like, would that be okay? Like that?
Yeah, what's up, sir? The food there is fully cooked and it's sealed. A non-Jew cannot do anything to that food. It's sealed. It's sealed with a plastic, with all the kosher like tape. I mean, they know if somebody temporarily like the tape is broken, we're not going to eat it. Of course, they know.
Okay, thanks.
So that's very very secure. So for especially with meat, you need a double wrapper because we don't trust non-Jews. But with other foods, we don't suspect that they're going to like. Give us like non-kosher foods instead. Okay.
No, for sure. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions? Go ahead. Okay. So if no questions, so we can stop here. And tomorrow we're going to continue with the Shmoneh Perkim. Thank you very much and good night. Thank you.